Okay, and in this video we are going to discuss about just how I made this Halloween scary scene, and just look into the scene. Alright, and this is totally made in Adobe After Effects, and let's jump into the After Effects and see. And this is the project file of After Effects, and we can discuss about the breakdown, just how I made. So before that, just take a 2 views over here, and when you're working on 3D space and 3D camera animation, just remember that thing, just you have to take a 2 views, and it's very mandatory. Okay, and let's jump into the custom view. Actually, this is the sky, just the images which I already included in this project file, just I already shared you in the project file, and just I will share the drive link, just you can download the images and the source file. So please check under this description, just I provide the Google Drive link, just you can download the images and you can download the project file. And this image also included in that source drive link, the source file. Okay, and these images, and this is the image just I downloaded from the Pixabay. And coming to this one, basically I used to give a slight amount of color correction with the help of the curves, and I reduced the curves little bit down. And now we can see, and this is an image. So alright, and actually this is an image, basically a ground image, you can see. And once if you go to the top view, so this is the image which I used here, and because this is the cracked ground, so and I used to give some 3D for this one. And once go back to the custom view, and just I used to use some color corrections over here, like the levels and the tint and the curves. Alright, and the coming to the color correction part, just I used to give a slight amount of the levels, crunch a little bit the white area down. And coming to the tint, just I need to give some black and white color effect, so for that just I used to give the tint. And for this one, the curves, just I used to reduce the curves little bit down. Alright, and why use the motion tile means because this image wants to enhance for the entire composition. Basically, if you don't use motion tile means just you have to make a multiple duplicates, just like this, so it may reduces the render speed very low. So for that, just you have to use the motion tile, and motion tile is very awesome tool in Adobe After Effects. Okay, and now just coming to this one, and this is the duplicate, and here just everything is similar, but I used to change the motion tile little bit, some variation, because here the camera will start here, see, it will start from underground from down to up. So this kind of camera animation just I'm using basically. So here is our image, and I used to place this one here, and I used to change some kind of rotation here, and I used to do it like here. Alright, and now just we need to turn it on this one. So what is this means, actually you can see some edges over here. Okay, one more thing guys, and just once go to the camera, and here just disable the depth of field as of now, just I don't need. And one more thing, disable the motion blur as well, because now we can understand very clearly. Okay, alright, and coming to this part, and this image is, you can see some cliffing part here, some rough edges type part here. So without this it's looking very weird and very unrealistic. You can't see this kind of results in real world for the ground or anything else. It has some random shapes like this. So for achieving this result, just I used to take one mask, see, and here you can see some mask over here, and with the help of this mask just I used to cut this image. So once disable this, and you can see just I used to cut and I used to place top to this main one. So alright guys, and that's the reason it's got some realistic result. Alright, and now just once turn on this one, and this one, this one, this one. Alright, and these 4 images are what these images means, same just how we did here. In the same, just we have to we used to place this same rough edges corners on this file, because if you turn on this one, automatically you can see it's looking very flat and it's also not looking realistic. So achieving that result, just I placed this some kind of random patches I used to place there. Alright, and coming to this one, and this is the tree, and this tree just I also provided this image over here in the description in the source files to the footages. And coming to this one, just basically, and this is an image with the background. Just with the help of the extract, just I used to remove the background, and just I used to give some matte choker over here, because without matte choker it will look like some white corners around the edges. And I used to give some color correction for this one to reducing the curves a little bit down. So alright guys, and once just in the same way, just same I duplicated here and I used to place this one. Okay, alright, and coming to these tree parts, just these trees, just I used to place in the 3D space. Just you can place these trees in your own 3D space with your own creativity, and I used to copy take more number of times of these trees. So you can see so here you can see, so this tree by mistake just I didn't place wrongly, just you have to place it correctly. Okay, alright, and I used to duplicate this tree for multiple times and I used to place it here in the 3D space. Okay, alright guys, and coming to these trees, just all are same. Just I used to just here we don't need the extract or matte choker, I think, because these images are already PNG. We don't want to remove any background or anything else. Just I used to give some color correction and I used to change the levels out here. Alright, and I used to copy the curves for number of times, because here I need this tree color correction should look very dark. So for that reason, just I used to take the curves for 2 times, the same curves for 2 times. Alright, and coming to this one, and this is actually a fog type. So you can see some fog type over here. Once you can turn it on, make it black, and you can see some images over here. See, these images are some fog type of, just if you double click over here, just you can see some cloud and fog. Just you can use in the scenes like for mist or fog or anything else. So I used to, and coming to here, this is also PNG. Just we don't want any extract or any matte choker to be used here, but I used to give some tint and I used to change the color correction over here, and I used to give some yellow color for this map to white, and I used to place this one and make it into 3D. And don't forget to make into 3D, because this scene is totally in 3D space, and just I used to place it with the different in this 3D space, and I used to duplicate this one for number of times. That's all it guys, and okay, and now this is churchyard. So basically this is an image, and I used to cut this image with the help of mask. So basically this is not an image to use the keying technique, because this image has some background. For removing the background, just I used to take the mask, the two masks, and I used to remove the background. Alright, and let's import this one into this main comp, and let's enable this into 3D. And just I used to give the same color corrections, exposure, and the matte choker and the curves, because this scene is always in the dark space, dark mode. So for that reason, just I'm using the color corrections very down, and I'm giving some exposure also, making a little bit down. Alright, and repeat the same process. Just duplicate this shade shard in the 3D space for more number of times. Okay, and coming to this one, and once we can see, this is the pumpkin actually, and this pumpkin just I used to download from internet, and I used to give some eye blinking animations over here. And coming to this one, and this hat is different. See, actually this hat is image which I downloaded from internet, and I used to cut this one. Just hold it, and I used to duplicate the second hat, and I used to cut this image, and I used to place the position on the top, because this cap is looking very short. So to make little bit long, just I used to copy this hat for 2 times, and I used to place it this tip over here. And coming to this one, and this is the shadow. Without this, it's looking little bit artificial, because it has some kind of shadow when we wear the thing. Yes. Alright guys, and coming to this part, so basically these are the soloid, just you can understand. So first of all, just I need to cut these images with like eyes shapes and the mouth shape, and just with the help of this mask path, just I animated like blinking, and I copied this keyframe animations for more number of times, and I used to use some fill, and I used to give some glow over here. So without this fill, glow, and this Gaussian blur, it's looked a little bit artificial. So, and I used to take the glow for 2 times. Okay, alright guys, and hope you understand this one. And just I used to place this pumpkin at this corner, and once you can see, and coming to this pumpkin, just I used to give some head rotating animation like this with the help of Z rotation value. See, you can see it's automatically rotating. Just hold it guys, and copy these keyframes after some time. See, it's having some head rotating animation. Just hold it guys, and basically it should start from here, and it should start from 31st. Before that, it's having the opacity to 0. Cool. And now just we need to add some grass over here. So let's jump into this grass, and this grass basically it's an image, and I used to extract this background with the help of the extract. And let's bring this to our 3D space and enable the 3D over here and duplicate it for more number of times. So grass is also very mandatory, just if you're making some Halloween scenes like that, grass, shade shirt and everything. Okay, and these are the grass I placed in 3D space. Okay, and now one more thing we forgot here, just to, this is the haunted house. So here we can see some kind of lighting, and the color correction is very dull. And let's jump into this composition, the haunted house composition, and you can see here basically, so this is the original image. So if you turn it on, and the levels and everything, the exposure, matte choker, everything, this is the original image. just I used to cut this image, and I used to give some exposure, the curves and the levels. The curves, I used to give curves for 2 times. Alright, and coming to this one, and these have some blinking effect over here. These are yellow solids and everything, because it should looks like little bit scary part. Just I used to give some yellow solid, and I used to give the opacity and 0 and 100, and used to give some loop out expression over here. Just alright, and give some Gaussian blur over here. Alright guys, and coming to this one, and this is the windmill, and this windmill, just I downloaded this image from internet, and actually this is Photoshop in somewhat little bit, because in image wide it won't look like this. So for that reason, just I went to Photoshop, and I used to give some, I cut this image, and with the help of clone stamp tool here, just I used to clone the texture over here, and now you can see. And I used to make it enable to 3D, and I used to give the Z rotation over here. Automatically it's rotating, and we brought this windmill to our composition, and I used to give the same color corrections for the house which we give, so it's automatically blended with the house. Alright, and let's go back to the main composition, and I brought this haunted house over here and placed at the extreme bottom here. See, it's extreme looking bottom. Alright guys, and we finished everything, we placed everything, and now coming to this part, we have to add a camera and the null, because we need some camera animation for this scene. So alright guys, and let's take a camera. So this camera is a custom camera, and I used to take a camera, and one more thing, just I used to take a null object, and just I need to link this camera to null object, and let's start this process. Now we have to animate this camera, and go to the null object. Basically it's very simple animation, and it should start here, from this cracker ground. Automatically it should reach, and it should hold for 1 frame. So again the dolly shot camera is coming, so now you can see automatically the camera is coming to here. So I think we forgot the pumpkin. So here the pumpkin is here. So here the pumpkin is the main, first pumpkin is the main pumpkin, and again it's going to here. Install it, and I forgot to discuss about this pumpkin, and second pumpkin, and let's start the second pumpkin. And yeah, here the pumpkin 2 is over here, and this is also the same. Actually this is also Photoshop photo manipulated. Just I used to take this wood stick, and the same, this is the pumpkin, and here coming to here, just I used to give take white solids, 2 white solids. So these are the eyes and the mouth, and I used to give some blinking animation, and it's see, we used to give some laughing. The pumpkin is laughing a little bit, so I used to give some laugh type of mask path animation over here, and copied the frames up to 5 seconds. The same, it's looping, this animation is looping. Okay, and I used to give some glow effect for this solids, for the eyes and the mouth. Alright, and this is the pumpkin 2, and just I used to place this second pumpkin over here. So over here, this is the second pumpkin, because this is the last frame, and here this is. So, and we used to place everything, and now also the scene is not at all looking good. Why? Because the scene is looking very flat, and it's looking very unrealistic. Why? Because we don't have proper depth of field. And now it's time to turn on the depth of field and make on, and now you can see depth of field. Yeah, its depth of field is totally on. So what's the depth of field means actually, and here out of focus and focus depth of fields relates to. And alright, and let's discuss about the depth of field. So here you can see 2 boxes, the first box and the second box, and the first box indicates the depth of field, So it shows the whichever is near to this first box. So this is considered as in focus, and whichever objects which are far away from this first box, those are considered as out of focus. See, in this scene, this churchyard is very near to this first box. That's the reason it's looking focus, and the rest, this house is out of focus, and the sky is out of focus, and remaining other trees are out of focus. So that's the reason they are having some blurry effect. So that is known as the depth of field. And I used to give some values over here for depth of field, and I used to give some animations. So whenever it's reaching to the last stage and the final stage, and you can see here, and this pumpkin is get focused, and this pumpkin is get focused. So alright, and now when it reaches to the very last frame, and here you can see this one is focused, and you may see here some blurry because I used here quarter mode. And when you're rendering the final output, just keep it in full mode. Okay, alright guys, and that is about depth of field. And now again, just we need to look some other things over here, like this white solids. And the adjustment layers, just we need to discuss about this. Alright, and okay, and now coming to this scene, and just I used to give some tint effect for here. So without tint, it won't look correct. I don't think this color won't give you the perfect feel to the scene. And see, this scene gives you the black and white scene will gives you some scary feel to your scene. So just I used to take an adjustment layer, I used to give some tint effect over here. And coming to this one and this transform, just I used to give some shaking vibrant effect for this scene, and that's the reason just I used to give some transform, position, and the scale and the rotation. Just I used to give some loop out ping pong expression over here, and with very simple values over here. For rotation also, just I used to give some 0.1, and when it reaches to 14 frame, just again it's 0. So alright guys, and coming to this one, and this is some color correction. You can see this is the final color correction, just like used to give some curves and the exposure. Okay, and I think we finished everything almost, and now just we need to discuss one more thing, that is some, here you can see some lightning strike is there. So how I made this lightning strike means, so this is the lightning strike. So basically just I used to take some advanced lighting over here, and once I want to disable everything so that I can show how I made this lightning strike. Okay, that's alright guys, and we finished this everything. And now just I want to discuss about you just how I made this lightning. So basically this lightning is just I used to solo it, and now you can see here. And just why I'm getting like blurry means actually its depth of field is on, so for that reason it's getting like blurry type effect. And I used to take the advanced lighting, which you can find in this which you can find in the Aftereffects tools, and or else if you don't know, just you can type a search in the effects and presets. If you type and the search advanced lighting, yes, you can find the tool over here. And coming to this one, just and it's very basic settings. Just I used to animate the origin over here. So once look into the keyframes, and it's in real life the lightning will stay at least for some kind of 1 second like that, maybe below 1 second, it like flashes and it will go. And see, just here I used to give some origin direction animation over here, and it's going. So alright guys, and this is all about the lighting. And I used to give some opacity over here, So once if you go to the core settings, I used to give some core opacity wiggle 10/30 so that it will have some luminant lighting coming off and down. You can see some lighting off and down. Okay, alright guys, and that's about the lightning. And once unsolo it, and now we can see, and you are able to see some lighting here. So how I made this result means just take the white solid, and once toggle the switches, I used to give some overlay over here. So, and these will give you some flickering type of effect over here. See, some flickerings in the scene. And I used to give some random places with this flickering effect. So here I used to give some flickering effect because it will give you some feel. If you give some flickering effect over here means. And here I used to give some flickering effect over here. And coming to here, and when it reaches to the pumpkin, and I used to give some flickering effect over here. Alright, and I used to duplicate here for 2 times, and one I used to put in soft light and one I used to put in overlay. And coming to the opacity, and I used to give some, and this is same for everything. It's like 0, 100, 0, 100 flickering means. Alright, and coming to here, when it's light hits, the storm hits, I used to give, and I used to give some flickering over here. Alright guys, and at the final scene, and I used to give some flickering, same flickering effect. I used to duplicate it and place it over here. Okay, and one more thing I used to discuss, and here you can see it's very, very dark. And how I made that means just once you can see here. So alright, here I used to give some color corrections over here. And with this color corrections, I used to make the curves very, very down, and the exposure also a little bit. So with this color correction, just I achieve very, very dark result over here, because when the storm hits, automatically at the time when you observe real life, automatically it will darks entire surroundings. Only you can see the slight storm over here. So alright guys, and that's all about this scene. And one more thing, just I need to discuss. Just I used to make it in motion blur. Everything is in motion blur, and please don't forget to turn the motion blur. Okay, and that's it guys, and let's look at the final scene. Okay, just alright guys, and we finished this scary scene, and I think it's looking very, very awesome. Okay, and if you have any doubts related to this scary scene project, I provide the source file in the description. Just you can download it and you can check this project file, and you can ask me in the comments section. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, and please subscribe to my channel, and please share this channel to your friends, and see you in the next video.